Hi there everybody, today we're going to do another cob bait. This bait is going to consist out of a Chokka base and then again a sardine, but this time we're going to use the sardine inside out. So it's basically a very smelly bait, no shine on the bait, and this is a very effective bait for dirty water and nighttime fishing. So here's our Chokka. We're going to start off by cleaning the Chokka. We take the skin off the Chokka, we're going to grab our knife and just cut the Chokka open from the top to the bottom and remove the head and the insides. Once we've cleaned our Chokka, we're left with this nice piece of fillet which will serve as the base of our bait. The next step in the process is we're going to need to cut a nice piece of foam which we're going to add on the hook for flotation and also to help shape our bait. Sort of cut it and trim it to the size I want. Said it's to lift the bait a little bit and add a bit of shape to it. Give it a bit of a coffin shape, and that's perfect. So we've cut our nice piece of foam and we're going to add that onto the hook now using ghost cotton. As always, I like to secure the foam nice and stiff on the hook, so my hook is proud and it can't move on the foam, so when the fish bites on it, you can't push the hook flat. After we've secured the foam to the hook nice and firmly, we finish it off with a loop knot, and that make sure your cotton doesn't get undone. So once again, we're going to cut a nice shaped piece of Chokka. Put the rest away. Determine the length you want our bait. Trim it down a bit. Cut our feelers. Now we're going to grab our Chokka hammer again, or tenderizing hammer, and we're going to tenderize this back end which we're going to wrap around the hook and our flotation. So we grab our piece of Chokka, hook it through just below our feelers, wrap it around the foam, and then we cotton that on. And there we go. There's our base again for our bait. Alright, so we grab our sardine. Obviously nice fresh sardine, and once again we're going to use this belly section here where all the flavor sits, but where this bait differs from the previous one I showed you, we're going to cut the belly off, but we're going to turn it inside out so all the flavor sits on the outside of the bait and not on the inside. Right, once again we're going to cut off the head just behind the gill plate, get the maximum amount of flavor out of this belly we can. And as you can see, all that flavor sits in the belly section there. So that's the part we want to use for our bait. Okay, so we want to cut that belly section out. And then on this one, I'm going to add a few strips as well. Right, so we're left with 3 pieces. Our little belly section and just 2 little slithers are cut off which will add on to the bait afterwards. What I want to do now is I want to cut that belly section open and fold it inside out. Cut it nicely down the middle. Expose all those flavors. You actually want to fold it over like that and have all the flavors on the outside of this bait. So after we've done that, we're basically just going to add that to the base of our bait here. It's a bit of a messy bait, but that's the whole idea. As you're going, shape it with your fingers, make sure you keep a nice shape. After we've attached this belly section, inside out, we're going to take these little cutlets that we cut off. I'm just going to shape them a little bit to fit with my bait, so they're not too big. And I'm going to add them to the top of the bait. A bit of cotton, and then you grab the next section, you put it on the other side. Get the required shape, and you cotton that on. Then we finish it off with a half edge, and that's our bait done. It's a messy, smelly bait, but that's the whole idea behind this bait. We've got our little feelers for vibration, and then we've got the inside out belly at the bottom, the little cutlets at the top. Still a nice shape, so we can cast it and the bait can go as far as we wanted. And for me, that's a bait that works very well when I'm fishing dirty water daytime or in the evening for cob.